My beloved child, look around you with eyes of faith, for the season of your quiet endurance has finally reached its turning point. Two distinct realities are converging upon your path at this very moment. One is the profound breakthrough you have wept for in the deepest hours of the night, when the world was asleep. And the other is a subtle, deceptive distraction, designed to rob you of your focus just before the dawn. I am speaking directly to your spirit right now because neither occurrence is an accident. If you anchor yourself in my presence, you will step fully into the promise while being shielded completely from every unseen snare. This is not an ordinary moment in your story. I am not speaking of temporary relief or passing comfort that fades with the sunrise. I am speaking about the deep cry of your heart that you buried beneath your silence, because hoping for it had started to feel too painful. Hear me with absolute certainty tonight. That prayer did not vanish into empty air. It was never misplaced or forgotten in the vastness of heaven. I have held every single tear, aligning the heavens, the earth, and the unseen realm to ensure that when your delivery arrives, no human hand or spiritual adversary can snatch it from you. The timing was never broken, and the delay was never a denial. But I require your undivided gaze right now. I need your faith to rise above the fatigue, above the noise of daily survival, and above the heavy doubts that whisper that tomorrow will just be a repeat of yesterday. A divine shift received with doubt is like seeds scattered on stone, but I am preparing the soil of your spirit to sustain an abundant, everlasting harvest. The adversary senses the weight of glory being released over your life, and that is why your mind has felt under siege with exhaustion, mental fog, and the urge to look away. That feeling of weariness telling you that nothing ever changes is a lie born of fear. Heaven has designated this precise encounter for you, not because my mercy has a deadline, but because a sacred window of divine alignment has opened over your destiny. If you walk past it asleep, you will still be mine, but you will miss the threshold that was built to change everything. Cast your mind back across the landscape of your past years. Remember the nights when the pressure was so immense you thought your mind would break, yet somehow you woke up with breath in your lungs. Remember the moments when every earthly door slammed in your face, yet an invisible current carried you forward. That was never coincidence or human luck. That was my sovereign hand upholding you in the dark. Every trial was a hidden lesson, and every closed door was a divine redirection leading to this very hour. You are not listening to this by random chance. I stirred your inner being long before you realized why you were seeking peace, and I appointed this sacred time to rebuild what the world broke. Put down the heavy armor of your past disappointments. I know how deeply you trusted only to see things crumble before. I know the sting of unanswered questions when the heavens seemed made of brass. But yesterday's scars make terrible counselors, and they are utterly blind to the glory I am preparing to pour into your life. I see the tired lines in your soul, and I tell you with absolute truth, the silence is over, the repositioning is complete, and your story is turning around, starting right now. The heavy silence that once felt like abandonment was never absence. It was the quiet, meticulous work of heaven building a foundation strong enough to hold what is coming. While you were weeping in secret, wondering if your life had been reduced to an endless cycle of struggle, I was actively moving divine pieces across the chessboard of your destiny. I have already dispatched divine connections into the earth, individuals carrying the exact favor, resources, and wisdom necessary for your next elevation. You have not encountered them yet, but their steps and your steps have been synchronized to cross at a specific intersection of time and grace. When you finally meet them, you might call it good fortune, but it is nothing less than the exactness of my sovereign design. I am unblocking streams of abundance that have been withheld for generations. Provisions from unexpected places, opportunities that seemed reserved only for others, and strategies that defy conventional logic are being funneled straight to you. I am the God who commands light out of absolute darkness, and the limitations of your current bank account or environment do not restrict my capacity to supply all your needs. I am right now altering circumstances that you thought were etched in stone, dissolving prolonged grief, and opening doors that remained locked no matter how hard you hammered against them. The turnaround will be so swift in certain areas of your life that you will barely finish processing one breakthrough before the next wave of favor lands at your feet. Ministering angels have been stationed around your dwelling, guardians carrying explicit orders marked with your name. They neither slumber nor lose focus, waging battles in spiritual realms you cannot see, clearing hidden traps, and holding open the precise path carved out for your purpose. Divine decrees are being sealed over your family, your health, and your labor. This elevation is not an experiment. It is an established decree awaiting the appointed hour of delivery. Healing is being released into the fractured spaces of your mind and the hidden weariness of your physical body. The kind of deep restoration that no worldly method could ever produce. You might ask why this fulfillment took so long to manifest. It was never about your unworthiness. It was about positioning. The person designated to partner with your vision was not yet in place. The necessary resources had not yet been released from the hands holding them. And certain harmful associations had to fall away silently, without breaking your heart. Fruit harvested before its time rots before it can nourish anyone. And a structure built upon wet cement inevitably collapses under its own weight. The waiting was costly, and I never turned my eyes away from what it took out of you. But I refused to hand you a generational blessing, only to watch it crumble because the timing was off. I do not operate by the fragile watches of men. I move by the sovereign calendar of eternity. And according to that eternal clock, your season of being hidden has drawn to its close. The people are prepared. The provision is dispatched. The doors are unlocked. And all of heaven is waiting for one thing: a heart brave enough to lay down its bitterness and open its hands wide to receive. Open hands cannot be formed while your fingers are still clenched around past betrayals, and you cannot walk boldly into a room of favor while still looking over your shoulder at who left you behind. I am asking you to surrender the need to control the outcome and let my grace carry the weight you were never built to bear. You have pleaded for a move of my spirit, and tonight I tell you plainly that the atmosphere around you has already shifted. The question is no longer whether I am willing to restore you. The question is whether you will stand in the exact spot of divine alignment, awake, alert, and anchored in unwavering faith. Look back at the prayers you thought vanished into nothingness, the ones uttered between broken breaths on lonely drives, the silent groans when words completely failed you, and the desperate petitions made behind locked doors. Not a single sound fell short of my throne. I did not weigh them by your eloquence, nor did I discard them when doubt crept into your tone. A loving father does not reject his child because they wept instead of speaking clearly. I heard the agony underneath every tear, and I answered every single plea. But my answers did not always arrive disguised in the exact packaging you demanded. Some arrived as closed doors that felt like bitter rejection, yet they were fierce acts of divine protection shielding you from rooms that would have drained your soul and compromised your integrity. That connection that fell apart was not your failure. It was my mercy removing a counterfeit before it could destroy the true purpose waiting ahead. The intensity of the warfare you endured was simply proof of the magnitude of the blessing assigned to your lineage. You were not being punished in the darkness. You were being forged into an unbreakable vessel. The coming season will look entirely unrecognizable compared to the seasons of starvation you survived. Stagnant projects will suddenly accelerate. Closed channels of communication will unexpectedly open, and problems that tormented your mind will dissolve into absolute clarity. You will begin to witness undeniable confirmations everywhere you go, divine timing in everyday appointments, wisdom dropping into your spirit during moments of quiet reflection, and unprecedented favor in spaces where you were once overlooked. Do not waste precious energy trying to explain this transformation to critics who only knew you in your valley. Some people were only assigned to your struggle, not your elevation. Your duty is simply to walk in deep humility and unshakable boldness, allowing the undeniable harvest of your life to bear witness to what genuine faithfulness produces. Relationships are undergoing a vital realignment around you in this exact season, where certain individuals will naturally step closer, while others drift quietly away. And you must let both movements happen without panic or regret. I am clearing out the crowded spaces of your life to make room for aligned connections, trustworthy allies, and genuine support systems that reflect the reality of where you are going rather than where you have been. Every ending is creating the necessary margin for a healthier beginning, and you must not attempt to drag old, survival-based mindsets into a season that demands wisdom, stewardship, and emotional maturity. The defensive habits that kept you alive during trials are entirely different from the intentional habits required to sustain abundance, and you cannot build a prosperous future using the blueprints of past trauma. As doors of influence swing wide open, your responsibility to protect your inner peace will increase exponentially. More distractions will compete for your focus. More opinions will try to dictate your trajectory, and you must master the discipline of tuning out the surrounding noise to hear my still, quiet guidance above every human voice. Guard your tranquility deliberately, for a grounded spirit is the foundation upon which lasting fruitfulness is built. Understand clearly that when favor multiplies, accountability deepens right alongside it, requiring you to remain rooted in genuine humility, unwavering gratitude, and pure integrity. Arrogance shuts down momentum instantly, but a modest, grateful heart unlocks corridors of authority you never even knew existed. Keep your eyes on the truth that this breakthrough is larger than your individual comfort. Your restoration is meant to stand as a living testimony of hope to others walking through their own dark valleys. In the days ahead, you will feel a sacred boldness rising within you, urging you to step into uncharted territory, initiate projects you once thought were beyond your reach, and articulate your vision with clarity and conviction. Do not allow the memory of past fatigue to trick you into playing small. Confront the lingering fears of the past. Process the final layers of inner healing with honesty, and refuse to let old emotional scars dictate the boundaries of your future. You are fully stepping into the purpose for which you were created. A version of yourself that walks in dignified confidence, sets healthy boundaries without apology, and reflects the fullness of divine purpose with unwavering power.